Coming up on Valley View News, a community fridge offers free food to people in need. Plus, what Proposition 17 means for ex-cons on parole. And a CSUN student promotes exercise through Instagram.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Amanda Alvarado.
And I'm Ryan Ketchum in the Digital Media Center.
This election year will look different. More than 21 million ballots will be mailed to LA County registered voters. This is partly because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Most ballots will be received by the end of this week. Other counties started the vote by process mail about 2 weeks ago. Absentee ballots are required to be mailed no later than the 29th. Voting centers will be open for people who want to vote in person. In the past couple of decades, a few states have voted by mail. About 72% of their voters mailed in their ballots.
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti withdrew his endorsement of a county district attorney Jackie Lacey. Garcetti now endorses George Gascon. The switch comes as many Californians want criminal justice reform. Lacey spent most of her second term declining to prosecute officers in shootings of unarmed men. Gascon also didn't prosecute some officer shootings during his 8 years as San Francisco's district attorney. But his record of using restorative justice programs rather than incarcerations led to endorsements from progressives like Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders.
Protesters demonstrated in the front of the home of Amazon owner Jeff Bezos in Beverly Hills. It was organized by the Congress of Essential Workers. On October 1st, Amazon announced that almost 20,000 employees tested positive for the coronavirus. The protesters want higher wages, free health care, environmental reform, and most importantly, improvements in the way the company handles the pandemic.
California wildfires burned more than 4 million acres in 1 year. That's a record, and double the previous record of 1.67 million acres burned 2 years ago. Spokesman for the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, Scott McLean, says the 4 million mark is mind-boggling. There have been 8,200 wildfires since the beginning of the year. The most destructive fires were in Northern California, where the mountains have plenty of dry trees along with strong winds.
A community fridge is now available in the San Fernando Valley. Community fridges are becoming popular in the LA area. Valley View News reporter Liliana Ramirez explains how the outdoor appliances are helping people in need.
The San Fernando Valley has its first community fridge in North Hills. The fridge is supported by the community. It's a resource for anyone needing food. The community donates supplies. Co-founder Monica LLOYD says she wants to help those in need.
Our Valley residents matter. Our 10,000 is counted in the mass number of all of those that are experiencing homelessness in Los Angeles. And I wanted to be that beacon of light, that advocate for the individuals that are here in the San Fernando Valley.
The fridge stays fully stocked thanks to plenty of donors dropping off food. Anything is welcome from canned food to hygiene products. The fridge also has a QR code. Donors can scan to see what the fridge has in stock and is in need. Founder Jeff Holmes says anyone is welcome to get food.
Those who are experiencing homelessness, and then single mothers, those who are who really could use that extra resource. In theory, anyone could come by and take what they need.
Community fridges need business sponsors. Sponsors permit the plugging in and covering of electricity expenses. Toyin's Fashion African Market sponsors the fridge.
I see people come in very early in the morning. I see some people at night, but it's a steady pace. People come in at their own, it's comfortable for them to come in and just basically shop for free with dignity.
The founders plan on expanding the fridges around the San Fernando Valley. In North Hills, I'm Liliana Ramirez reporting for Valley View News.
After testing positive for COVID-19 last week, President Trump was released from Walter Reed Medical Center. Trump tweeted Monday that he wanted to go back to the White House. The head of Trump's medical team, Dr. Sean Conley, said the president was doing better after getting steroid therapy to improve his blood oxygen levels.
Remdesivir works a little bit differently than the antibodies. We're maximizing all aspects of his care. Attacking this virus, multi-pronged approach.
Last weekend, Trump released video message from the hospital. He was also taken out in an SUV to see his supporters. The attending physician at Walter Reed, James Phillips, said the drive-by put everybody in the vehicle in danger for political theater. It's still unknown if Trump will be able to participate in next week's debate with Joe Biden.
World leaders are quickly reacting to President Donald Trump testing positive for the coronavirus. Vladimir Putin sent Trump a telegram wishing him a fast recovery. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson sent him best wishes to Trump and Melania through a tweet. Johnson was hospitalized for a week in April after contracting the virus. Some of the other leaders who reached out to Trump include Prime Minister Mark Rutte and President of the European Council and the Chief of the World Health Organization.
President Trump's press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, tested positive for COVID-19 Monday morning. 2 of her deputies also tested positive. These reports come from 4 days ago after President Trump said on Twitter he and the First Lady Melania Trump received a positive test result after the last week's presidential debate. McEnany tweeted she tested negative every day since Thursday and says she has no symptoms. She will begin her isolation and the press staff is working remotely.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she does not get any updates on Trump's health. Pelosi is second in the line of succession behind Mike Pence and still does not get notified. She says she gets informed of the president's coronavirus status through the media.
Very early this morning, the news came that the president and the first lady had tested positive for the virus. I pray for them all the time, including last night, so this was just a continuation of more prayers for their safety and their health and well-being.
Pelosi wants Trump's doctors to provide trustworthy information to the public. She says she prays that the president is in good health and has a speedy recovery.
U.S. Attorney General William Barr decided to self-quarantine even though he tested negative on 4 COVID-19 tests. Barr was in close contact with White House officials who did test positive for the virus. Barr was seen at the Rose Garden event late last month without a mask and shaking hands with people in the crowd. He's expected to return to the Department of Justice later this week.
In Salt Lake City, Utah, the candidates are preparing for the vice presidential debate. Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris will now stand 12 feet apart instead of the originally planned 7 feet. The Biden campaigns abandoned additional safety protocols after a COVID-19 outbreak hit the White House and sent President Trump to the hospital. Biden's campaign also wanted both candidates to stand during the debate, but Republicans rejected the idea. Pence remains COVID-19 negative.
Ride-sharing app Uber and Lyft are working together on the November elections. Both companies spent $100 million to overturn a state law requiring that their drivers be listed as employees. The AB 5 law requires the 2 companies to pay contract workers as regular employees. Prop 22, if it passes, will make Uber and Lyft drivers independent contractors. Reports say both companies will have to pay $392 million in annual payroll taxes if the proposition doesn't pass. That will lead to price increases. A no vote will also deny drivers protection and benefits. The ride-sharing app claims that most drivers prefer to be independent contractors.
With all of the excitement from the approaching presidential election, local elections and propositions might not be on everybody's mind. Reporter Bryce Wayne breaks down one important state proposition, Proposition 17.
Voting reform is an important issue to many Californians. Proposition 17 would restore voting rights to felons and former convicts on parole. Retired parole officer Micah Sims says they should be able to vote after they've proven themselves as a functioning member of society.
I think if felons have an extended time after they've completed their parole, if they have any, or their probation, let's say extended time of 5 years where they have no new offenses, I think they should be eligible to vote.
Meanwhile, some Proposition 17 supporters say being on parole isn't a punishment. Instead, parole is supposed to reintroduce ex-convicts back into the world. But some opponents think ex-cons can't be trusted while on parole. Yet Jeff Mack, who has familial connections to felons, says every American deserves the right to vote.
I believe that if you're done serving your time, then you're a member in society again. You get all the pros and the cons of being a citizen.
If Prop 17 passes, California will join 19 states that grant paroled ex-convicts the right to vote. 2 of those states, Connecticut and Vermont, allow felons to vote from prison. MACK says he hopes to see California do the same.
And without their ability to vote, I feel that they are not able to put someone into office that could accurately represent them.
Prop 17 isn't the only voting reformation on the ballot this year in California. Prop 18 will change the rules for 17-year-olds hoping to vote in the primaries. For Valley View News, I'm Bryce White.
More to come on Valley View News. Local soccer teams get the green light to practice again if they follow COVID-19 protocols. Also, a man encourages people to work out by social distancing on Instagram.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
A technical error caused nearly 16,000 coronavirus cases to go unreported in the UK. The problem slowed efforts to trace people who tested positive. The issue was eventually resolved and added more than 15,000 new cases that were left out of the daily figures. The government said most of those who were tested positive were informed. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said officials are still working on tracing. A significant number of unreported cases are from the northwest of England. Cities such as Liverpool and Manchester have some of the highest infection rates in the country.
Tropical storm Delta is growing stronger in the Caribbean. The first areas affected are Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and western Cuba. The warm water in the areas is making the hurricane stronger. Now, for the second time in history, the National Hurricane Center resorted to the Greek alphabet to name storms. Forecasters ran out of names that were pre-approved by the World Meteorological Organization. There currently isn't a plan in place for what may happen if they run out of Greek letters to use. In the meantime, it's recommended that Louisiana and Florida should be monitoring the storm.
Airbnb says it won't permit one-night rentals of houses during Halloween weekend. The move is expected to prevent wild house parties. Last year, 5 people were killed in a shooting in Orinda, California, during an unauthorized Halloween gathering. The company's efforts to review suspicious rentals has grown as it prepares for an initial public stock offering later this year. The company is manually reviewing reservations. It's banning U.S. guests under 25 with less than 3 positive reviews from booking homes near where they live. They also are limiting parties to 16 people.
The pandemic has put many once routine daily activities on pause. Reporter Karina Gutierrez followed a youth team that's now returning to training.
The Los Angeles Department of Public Health is allowing the reopening of youth sports leagues.
Now we can get out.
5 months into the pandemic, sports leagues are now practicing again. County health protocols must be followed, though. Soccer dad Gene Leando is concerned, but he says as long as they maintain their distance, it's okay.
All we're doing is practicing, and the league hasn't started, so I think it's fine to just, keep the muscles loose and for them to not sit at home all day.
Team Dynamo started practicing this month. The team also follows safety guidelines given by the California State Soccer Association. LA Department of Public Health rules require players to keep a physical distance of 6 feet. All sports activities must be outdoors, and starting August 12th, players could remove their face masks during intense workouts. These guidelines include limiting touches. Manuel Mata coaches Team Dynamo. He says he's being as cautious as possible.
I think it's important for the boys to start moving, especially since we know COVID impacts a lot of the people who are not physically strong. So I think it's important that we have some physical activity.
COVID-19 is still a high concern for these parents, but has not stopped Team Dynamo from playing. I'm Karina Gutierrez reporting from Whitfield Park for Valley View News.
The NFL and the NFL Players Association are investigating the Tennessee Titans about potential violation of COVID-19 protocols. Members of the organization tested positive in the past 2 weeks, rescheduling their Week 4 matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers to Week 7. Both teams had to forego their bye weeks, and the Baltimore Ravens had to adjust theirs. The Titans reported no new positive tests Monday morning since the closing of their facilities last Tuesday. They'll be able to reopen after 2 straight days of no new positive test.
The New England Patriots versus Kansas City Chiefs game, scheduled for Sunday, was postponed due to positive coronavirus tests on both teams. The NFL reported that Patriots star quarterback Cam Newton and Chiefs backup quarterback Jordan Ta'amu both tested positive. The teams closed their facilities and began contact tracing. The game was moved to Monday evening. Nearly all games have been played inside empty stadiums due to the pandemic.
Jimmy Butler's 40-point triple-double led the Miami Heat to a Game 3 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals. Butler is only of 3 players in the NBA history with that stat line in an NBA Finals game alongside LeBron James and Jerry West. The Heat's victory came without their all-star big man Bam Adebayo and starting point guard Goran Dragic. LeBron James led the Lakers with 25 points and 10 rebounds, but not enough to tame the Heat. Miami is looking to win their 4th title, and Los Angeles is chasing their 17th.
One CSUN student uses his iPhone to help others achieve their fitness goals. The student tells Valley View News reporter Nikiko Burnett how he does it.
Boom, like so.
Gyms in California are now open for outdoor recreational use.
Boom, press record.
But some people still do not feel safe working out around groups. CSUN student Dejan Crawford uses Instagram to help others get fit from the comfort of their homes.
So I love fitness. I love helping out people through the fitness aspect because there's always questions I go to school for. I learned so much about it, so it's like, why not apply what I learned from school and apply it to everyday life and knowledge.
For those comfortable with one-on-one training, Crawford and his clients will take a COVID test before meeting in person. He purchased his own equipment that his clients can use.
All my equipment's clean. I usually carry like a can Lysol with me. I disinfect my wipes inside my car, so I clean it off before I go in there, clean it off afterwards, make sure everything's clean, sanitized. Keep the tempo, rhythm.
Crawford has had asthma since he was a kid. Working out has helped him become less reliant on his inhaler. He says fitness has multiple benefits.
You know, it just helps people with the underlying conditions and it helps them build a stronger immune system, stronger lung capacity, whatever you want to just build stronger, working out helps it build it.
Crawford is working on building his online presence. He hopes to one day create an app. Reporting from Tarzana, I'm Nikiko Burnett for Valley View News.
When we come back, a woman starts a business that's not related to her bachelor's degree majoring. Also, a man operates a seafood restaurant following his family traditions and culinary tastes. Stay with us.
Did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
You might just call the ranger station and just
A woman who graduated with her bachelor's in psychology started her own lashing business. Esteban Reynoso has more on the story.
Many college students must work just to make ends meet. That used to be the case for eyelash specialist Melissa Zamora. She started her own business just one semester before graduation.
It became my dream. It became my dream, and I went to go get certified, and that's what brought me. So it was like my own desire.
Zamora started an eyelash extension business called Lashes by Mel in an empty room at her parents' house. She received her bachelor's degree in psychology of all things, but the degree doesn't have as much meaning to her as her beautification certificates hanging on the wall. Her BA isn't even up there.
I think I'm also gonna hang up my bachelor's.
Her parents have been helpful to Zamora's dream, but she finds it difficult asking them for help with her business.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was working 9 to 5, and sometimes if he had overtime, he would go chase after the overtime. But they don't know what it's like not to have a boss. It was really hard.
Zamora's psychology degree didn't totally go to waste.
I wouldn't even change it if I could go back to college, because I feel like psychology taught me how to listen, because I have to listen to these clients. A lot of these clients don't come to enhance their beauty. A lot of these clients come to vent because they don't have somebody to vent to. And I like being that person.
Zamora says even though psychology wasn't what she expected, she still uses the skills that it gave her and combines that with her passion to prove that sometimes beauty can come before brains. I'm Esteban Reynoso in San Fernando for Valley View News.
Regal Cinemas is temporarily closing all U.S. theaters. The theater chain reopened in August, but the decision to shut down comes after the release of the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, was pushed back to next year. Cineworld, the nation's second largest theater chain, is also closing its 500 theaters. Last month, filmmakers and cinema owners sent a letter to lawmakers asking to help for the theater industry. The National Association of Theater Owners says 69% of theater companies will go bankrupt without support.
Saturday Night Live returned for its 46th season. At the premiere, the audience was filled with first responders wearing masks. During Megan Thee Stallion's performance, the words "Protect Black Women" appeared on the screen behind her. Her performance called out Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron for how Breonna Taylor's death was handled. Kate McKinnon also paid a final tribute to the Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died in September.
This year's ACLU SoCal Annual Bill of Rights Gala skipped the awards ceremony. Instead, they celebrated the work of the ACLU while encouraging people to vote next month. The event usually includes the presentation of several awards to celebrities, politicians, and others for the advocacy of social justice. This year, Billy Porter hosted the hour-long virtual gala. It included appearances by Barbra Streisand, Jane Fonda, Martin Sheen, Sam Waterston, and many more.
A restaurant in Carson, California focuses on getting their customers full and happy while following family recipes. Valley View News reporter Amari Martin explains how the business is adapting to the coronavirus pandemic.
Jay Posey, aka Stacks, runs his own seafood kitchen at PJ's Grill in Carson, California. His family's culinary background stems from Mississippi, and Stacks is carrying on the family tradition.
The pricing and everything on here is actually a good price if you go to other competitors and see that they portion their food. But we don't. We just throw it on your plate, we pack it up, and we make sure that people get full and people get happy.
I just got back from a really long trip, and so one of the first things I wanted was 3 Stacks Kitchen.
During happy hour, every plate is one price.
When happy hour is here, it's a full house.
Entrees feature your choice of protein, rice, corn, potatoes, and sausage. The most popular item, the salmon and shrimp.
I like to just not burn the food, keep it nice looking. The sauce adds all the flavor, so very little seasoning, try not to make it salty so that people can enjoy the seafood.
As a chef, each day consists of prepping, chopping, thawing, sorting the seafood for what the restaurant's daily needs are, and then going from there. Orders can feature crab, lobster, and more.
I always order the shrimp and steak,
Gumbo,
crab on the side,
chicken,
I get my grandma the salmon,
lobster,
and the steak on the side, and that's how we go.
With the uncertainties of the coronavirus, 3 Stacks Kitchen, like other restaurants, is taking all the necessary precautions to serve safe takeout orders to locals. Reporting from Carson, California, I'm Amari Martin, Valley View News.
Venmo is offering their first credit card. The card is issued by Synchrony Bank and backed by Visa Network. The Venmo credit card will offer a rewards program. It will adapt to the cardholder's spending habits, and the cardholders will also enjoy that the card offers no annual fees. The company originally offers a Venmo debit card, but only a certain percentage of consumers are able to apply for the Venmo credit card. Customers who've had the app for 30 days or 12 months can qualify. Those not chosen can apply in the upcoming months.
Zyco, the coconut water produced by Coca-Cola, will be discontinued in the next few months. The decision came after decreased sales in Zyco beverages, but increased sales in the competitor companies such as Vita Coca. Zyco has been a part of the Coca-Cola company since 2013. A Coca-Cola spokesperson says the company will reduce business units, causing the job thousands of employees due to the COVID-19 decline in sales.
Hairdressers are finding creative ways to make money during the coronavirus pandemic. Our reporter Emily Brubaker has more on the story.
Look more that way. Maintaining a job during the coronavirus is a challenge, especially for hairdressers. Hair salons shut down 2 times since the start of the pandemic. Hairdresser Madison Swanson is turning her situation into a positive one.
I work from home, so me having the luxury of not having to pay rent at a salon and actually take 1 client a day just so it's safe and clean.
I need her to stand up because her hair, when she's sitting down, hits the back of the chair. Many people have turned to cutting their own hair at home. Hair client Brooke Azuna began cutting her hair as well. She came to Madison's hair service when she needed something more.
The lighter we get you, the more silver you'll be, but this is so cute.
I knew that the overall outcome would be a lot better than me just cutting my own split ends. And I feel like going to a salon is just a good way to treat yourself.
Giving yourself a haircut at home can be scary and may not turn out correctly.
My advice to people doing their own hair at home would just to find a professional licensed hairstylist and watch any video.
Yeah, perfect. Madison requires all of her clients to wear a mask and sanitizes between clients. She treats her at-home hair salon just like she would a real one. Reporting from Santa Clarita, I'm Emily Brubaker.
Mattel creates a Barbie doll in honor of women's rights activist Susan B. Anthony. The doll will be added to the Inspiring Women line, who features women who made history. Singer Ella Fitzgerald and civil rights activist Rosa Parks are also featured in the line. President of Susan B. Anthony Museum and House Deborah Hughes says the doll opens the door to people to learn about the legacy of the suffragist movement. The number of Susan B. Anthony dolls will be limited and available online through the Anthony Museum. That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Ryan Ketchum.
And I'm Amanda Alvarado. For stories any time of the day, go to our website, sundial.csun.edu. Thanks for watching.